For the past 2 years on YouTube, I have relied almost solely on this GoPro 11. But as of today, I am switching to the DJI Action 5. So for those of you that don't know, I am Chris, aka Coaster Dad. And the reason that I got a GoPro is because I intended to film on roller coasters. And as you can imagine, typically theme parks either don't allow this at all, or they require you to have the camera securely harnessed. So for that reason, I have a chest mount, and I also have a wrist mount. So I needed to get an action camera to ensure that I could film on rides. And at the time, GoPro seemed to be a fairly good choice. Many people had them, and so I decided to get one. For the most part, this camera has done me well. If you see me vlogging, I am carrying around this thing, pointing it at me, and it does the job. But there are some frustrations with it. First of all, the battery life on it is not the best. Quite often, the battery will die on me. I carry 3 batteries with me at all times. It does overheat. That is another problem with the GoPro. That, yeah, if I'm recording for any length of time, it'll just pack in and stop mid-footage, which is really, really frustrating. But the biggest problem I've got is when it gets dark. Now, if I'm carrying this around in a theme park, I have a little attachment here, a little light that I will put on the camera, and then I will blind myself, which kind of does the job when I'm in the theme parks. The problem with that though is that it doesn't solve 2 other problems. First of all, when I'm filming here, now I will show you some footage. This is me filming with this camera. It's probably a lot darker than this camera, which is my iPhone. Now the other area where low light is really a problem for me is indoor attractions, and that is where the GoPro is actually really, really poor, and I end up using my iPhone instead to film. Now the challenge with using the iPhone is that then I'm switching between 2 different cameras, which means that the video looks different, but more importantly, the audio sounds different as well, and that is obviously not ideal. So I was trying to find a camera that would do everything, and that is where this guy comes in, because this has super night mode and much, much better low light capabilities. Now I've decided to go for the adventure combo. I have a trip to the US coming up later on in the year, 2 weeks filming in various parks, so I feel like I'm going to need lots of batteries, even though this supposedly has way better battery life than the GoPro, and I will be testing that in this video. I decided to go for the 3 batteries and not the vlogger kit, which comes with a microphone. So let's see what is in the box. First things first, they could probably learn something from Apple and packaging, because this thing is not easy to get in. Even though it says open here, I can't actually get inside it. Ta-da! Okay, so okie dokie. We have the extension pole here, which is longer than I'm used to. The one I've got in the GoPro. So this is a pole for this. For comparison, there's the GoPro, significantly smaller. So that's going to be a little strange to carry it around. Happy days. And then here we have accessories, which should be inside here. We have, okay, so this is the clip. This is going to be essential for me connecting this to my existing kit. So that is fantastic. We have USB-C to USB-C cable. And we have in here the battery box, which has 3 batteries in it, probably not fully charged, but that is very handy. And then we have some paperwork stuff. Yeah, some paperwork. Sure. Yeah, there are little lights on here as well. Whee! I'm assuming they'll go green when it's fully charged. And then the actual camera itself, the main event. Some of that silicone stuff, sure. And then okay, so we have the actual camera. Which is quite petite. Again, I'll compare this to the, let me get the GoPro back out of here. So for comparison, the DJI is definitely a smaller unit. which is interesting. All looks good. And then, importantly, there is the rugged case that goes around it, which will probably make it back to a similar size to the GoPro. And there's some other accessories in here as well. What have we got? We've got 2 of the screws, which are kind of essential for all the attachments. And then we have some sticker thing. I'm guessing that's a different attachment if I want to stick it onto something, and then that would clip to the base of the camera. So I don't think that one's going to be useful for me. But then there is also this shell that the camera goes inside. I believe it just goes in like that. Maybe. Click. And then that is it in its shell. Right, I've put a battery into this thing, but I need to activate it. And to do that, I need to take this iPhone that is filming and scan the QR code that is on the screen. So I'll be back in a second. 5 minutes later. I've got the camera activated, although it wanted to do a firmware update and then failed because it can't connect to the camera. So that's a little bit of a worry. It's not a great start. There are a couple of reasons that I got this camera, as I think I alluded to earlier. The primary one is low light, and I'm definitely going to show a comparison shortly. I will be in a park soon, and I will put some footage in after this. But the other one is the startup time. The GoPro is not exactly the fastest when it comes to starting up, and quite often I miss footage. So there are times when I use my phone instead, because immediately I pull it out of my pocket and it's good to go. The GoPro usually takes a few seconds. I will put a comparison in of the startup of these 2 devices, but the Action 5 is almost instant. Now the obvious thing for me is that this has to be compatible with my GoPro accessories, such as this chest harness that I mentioned earlier. Now if you look at the GoPro, it has the little teeth attached to the camera itself that they come up and down. That is not true for this DJI Action. Instead, there is a little attachment. Now it's part magnetic, part clip-on, so it will magnetically attach and then click into place. And then you can take that and you can attach it into your GoPro accessories. So at least if you do already have an existing set of accessories for the GoPro, this is compatible with it using this little adapter that comes in the box. Right, one comparison, and I know size doesn't matter, but this is the GoPro stick that I had, which kind of extends to about yay size. This is perfect for in a theme park because most theme parks do not allow extendable poles. The one that comes with the DJI, on the other hand, it's still going. This thing is massive. So I won't be using this in theme parks because I'm not allowed to. So I will continue using the GoPro one when I'm filming on site. Plus, this one is just an extendable pole. This GoPro one also doubles as a little tripod, which is kind of nice. I'm sure there is one for the DJI, but just worth noting if you get the adventure combo like me, yeah, this stick is massive, which, who uses selfie sticks nowadays? Anyway, let's get on park and actually have some comparison footage to show you the difference between these 2 cameras. Right, this is me in my normal, natural habitat, if you will. When I'm filming and using these cameras, I am in a theme park. So, well, I'm in one right now. I'm in Blackpool and it's raining and it's horrible. I have just been on Wallace and Gromit, and I took these cameras in there and did a little side-by-side comparison. Now, to be fair, I put the Action Pro in super night mode, and I had the GoPro doesn't have that, so it was normal. Now, I mean, I've not seen this on a screen yet, but based on the screens on the cameras, it is night and day, quite literally. And that is something that is huge for me because, you know, there's not a huge number of rides that you're allowed to film on, depending on which park you're in, of course, but usually the dark rides are the ones you can, and the GoPro is useless. It does a terrible job. So when I have filmed, I've ended up using my iPhone. So it's nice to now have one camera that should be able to do everything. So anyway, I'm going to get into the park a little further, and then we'll do a little mic test because, well, some parts of this place are noisy. Right, here's an example of the camera outside. This is both of them on their normal lenses. so not on wide lens or anything like that, this is just the regular ones. To see what the field of view is like and what the colours are like. Based on what I can see on the screens, these are much of a muchness. There's not a huge difference. Not as much as there was in that dark ride. So I'm going to find somewhere slightly noisy but not as noisy as this and do a sound test. Alright, I have found a quiet, semi-quiet, there's a noisy lift hill behind me, place to try a little mic test. So this is the Action 5 Pro with the little mini mic. This is how it sounds. And then this is the Action 5 Pro without the mini mic. This is how it sounds. And this is the GoPro 11 with the media mod. This is how it sounds. And then this is the GoPro 11 without the media mod. This is how it sounds. And then for comparison, this is my iPhone 16 Pro Max. This is how it sounds. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you hit that like button. And this isn't my usual stuff, but if you do like theme parks, then also hit that subscribe button, because I have so much content planned for 2025. Right, I'm back here again. Now, one thing you'll notice since I did the unboxing is that I purchased the DJI mini mic. Now, for transparency, for the GoPro, I do have the Rode wireless mic, and I only really use it when I'm here, because this comes in 2 bits and it's bulky, and connecting it to the camera's a pain. But the one problem, in general, I was quite happy with this camera. Raw audio, it's pretty good, as it is right now. The problem is, when I turn it around like this and I start filming this way, the voice just drops off really, really quickly. And so that's where this little guy is going to help. Now, that was a problem I had on the GoPro as well, because as I say, I didn't take these mics with me. So if you ever saw me out and about and I was filming what I was looking at, that was basically I had my head right up at the back of the microphone to try and catch my voice. But anyway, let's recap what happened in the park. So there's 2 other things that I haven't touched on yet with these cameras, and the first one is the battery life. Now, the Action 5 Pro claims to have significantly better battery life than the GoPro. Now, I do have the endurance batteries from the GoPro, which are supposed to be their long life batteries, and I've heard that they are part of the problem with the overheating, because definitely this thing gets hot, and yeah, I've had it shut down on me quite a few times. So I ran a little test and compared the battery life on these 2. So here's the results. So there you go, the battery life there is just not even close. The GoPro overheated after 26 minutes and shut down. The Action Pro kept going for 2 hours and 20. In fact, my iPhone died 1 minute before the test was complete. So battery life, unbelievable. Definitely very, very happy with that. Now, another thing that I haven't touched on that both of these cameras have is a digital zoom. And the reason for that is, on the GoPro, I didn't really use it. It only goes to 1.4, it's not really worth it. And to be honest with you, not that impressed with this one either. It does go to 2 times optical zoom, digital zoom, sorry, but it's really poor. It's soft and it's blurry, and if you really want to zoom in, you're better just cropping in post if that's what you want to do. So that brings me to the summary of this thing. In general, this thing has absolutely blown me away. It is spectacular. The picture quality on it, the low light quality is unbelievable. I cannot get over the difference on that ride. The audio quality with this, now as I say, yes, I could use this wireless mic, but it's bulky and it's a pain to set up. This just clicks on, job done. So overall, this thing is amazing. This accessory kit as well, where I can just pull this off, click it onto my harnesses, just on the go, it is so much easier. So if you have either of these cameras, I would love to know your thoughts, or if you're considering switching from one of these to the other, based on what I have just shown. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button, but please only subscribe if you are interested in theme park content. That is what I normally do. This video is a little bit different for me. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios!